lanes, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capping space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
Welcome in, guys. How is everyone doing on this lovely autumn Tuesday? How are you? This is actually Aubrey, and I'm trying something new. So bear with me, guys. Bear with me. How's everybody today? Let me get over here to the comment section. Hey, Carlton. How are you? Hey there. Good to see you. Appreciate you being in the house. Um, and those of you that will come later on the replay, I appreciate you guys hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Yes, that's how we get into the algorithm and we get new subscribers, and we're able to bring more and better content. So, Colton, how are you today? Is everybody okay out there? I just decided I wanted to come to you guys. I had some things that I thought I wanted to talk about, and of course, let me see here. I was, so you guys know that on Sunday evenings here on Actually Aubrey channel, we do the Ready to Love Season 8 Dallas panel recap, right? And it's so much fun. We've got great people like Kia Simone has been on here. And by the way, I want to hold on one second. Let me just grab this because I've got my candle burning and I don't have my little sound machine handy, but hold on. I want to send, you guys help me to send a special shout out to Kia Simone. Today is her birthday. Happy birthday, Kia. Happy birthday. I'm not even going to try to sing, girl. I cannot sing. So, but so Kia Simone has been on the panel. Of course, you guys are familiar also with with Chloe Johnson, JRXTV, Calvin Thompson, and also Kimberly Reviews of Kimberly Reviews channel, right? So most of these people have their own YouTube channels, but they also do me the great honor and pleasure of being on Sundays so that we can talk about what? Ready to Love on the OWN network, right? So I was watching Ready to Love, and one of the cast members this season in Dallas, Jessica, had said something as she was at one of the Meet the Family interviews. She had pointed out the fact that we all make time for the things that are important to us, right? We all make time for the things that are important to us. And I think that's something that had really stuck out to me when she said that. So, in relationship to that, for me, it got me to thinking about like how often I put aside things that I could do, that I need to do, and that are important to me, that I say are important to me, and I don't do them right away. I don't do them on a regular basis, i.e., being in worship service, being in church every Sunday, right? Studying the word every day on a daily basis. I do pray every day. I do pray all the time. But just thinking about that. So I was thinking like she was talking about it specifically in terms of dating, relationships, and how people, when they really like you, I felt like what she was saying in that moment was when a man really wants you and likes you, he'll reach out and he'll call you, right? He'll call you, he'll text you, he'll make a way to find his way to call you and say, "Can I come by? Come on by here, girl," whatever that thing is. And I think that's so true. I think that as women, we sometimes forget that we all have 24 hours in a day. And what do we have to do with that time? We may, as women, or, we may be parents, we may have children that we're raising and taking care of. We may have even our own parents. We may be looking after parents, right? How are the parents doing? I've been in that situation where I was a caregiver. Any of you out there are any of you caregivers? Um, Let me know if you are you a caregiver? You know, and what is that like for you? Is that giving you? Are you making time for yourself? Are you making time for the things that you love, the things that nourish you? I have something that I'm going to read, so I'm just going to read this right now, and maybe this will help me to kind of calm my mind. So, years ago, I bought these for me and the family, my children. Um, it's any of you familiar with out there that are familiar with Dr. Charles Stanley? He just passed away earlier this year. He's a very well known uh, pastor, pastor of a church down in Atlanta, Georgia, right? So he did these perpetual calendars so that, like, every day of the year, you can just flip through and you can get yourself a good scripture and really meditate on what it's saying throughout the day. So for today, the scripture comes from King James Version, Psalm 121, third verse. And it says, "He will not allow your foot to be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber." And again, that is from Psalm 121st chapter and the third verse. And underneath it says, it gives a further explanation of what that scripture actually means. The Lord is a personal God, not limited by time or space, one who inhabits the hearts of all who believe in him. Therefore, no temple or building can contain his presence because he is eternally present throughout the universe. And it says, "Have you ever thought about that God is with you in all you do and say throughout the day? He is not just present in the morning when you awake. He is with you in the grocery store, in the doctor's office, at work, and at play. No matter where you go, God goes with you." And I think that right there, when I woke up this morning, that really gave me encouragement. So I hope that it gives someone else out there encouragement. Um, so some of the things that I just wanted to talk about, like Jessica said, how we make time for the things that we want to make time for. Is there something out there? Oh, hey there, Roro. Oh, good. Glad to see that I have a little bit of company. Oh, thank you, dear. Thank you so much. And so one of the things is I was talking to a friend of mine earlier today, and that's something that I'm learning, that in this season of my life where it seems like I'm just overwhelmed with starting this YouTube channel, trying to grow it, working full time, relationships, and so forth, I kind of had let some relationships kind of fall by the wayside. And so I was reminded today, a very good friend of mine had called me on a day when I was busy working, and I come home from work and I was just really relaxing, and I started not to pick up the phone, but I picked up the phone and I explained to the friend, I said, my day off, I'm going to give you a call back. So I did, in fact, call that friend back today. And my God, when I say I was so blessed by the conversation that I had with this old friend of mine, it was just such a blessing. Like when you get to a certain point in life and you've got an old friend or you've got a good friend, a neighbor, um, possibly a coworker, um, who has been through some of the same things in life that you've been through. Could be, hey there, Marlene. Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome in. Welcome in. Like you've been through some things. So, I've been going through some challenges in some relationship areas of my life. And it just really kind of had me feeling kind of a little down. And this friend of mine really helped me to kind of put things in perspective and says, sometimes in life we outgrow people, and sometimes in life people outgrow us. And I was like, wow, that's a little terrifying and a little, I don't know, maybe objective, analytical. What do you guys think? Do you feel like maybe you outgrown some friends, some family members? They've outgrown you? Um, but you know what? I said the only thing I can do is keep these people in my prayers and my thoughts, let them know that when they're ready, if they are, that I'm available to continue on in the relationship if they so desire. And that's sometimes that's like all you can do. What do you think? What do you think, Marlene? Have you ever had a relationship and you felt like you didn't know this person kind of iced you out, and you're not really sure what the reason is why that's going that way? Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Marlene says she's so sorry. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, I get a little full sometimes. I get a little teary eyed, but I let go and let God. And this is like not the first time in life. Um, I had a parent years ago. Well, I had two parents, but there's a particular my one parent that was going through late stages or mid stages of dementia. And that, for any of you out there that has ever, oh yeah, Roro says she can relate. Yeah. If you've ever had a parent or a friend or maybe even a spouse, perhaps, maybe you're dealing with someone, a sibling, a sister or a brother, they're going through late stage or dementia. And you see from day to day, you see the difference in them. You see, like, you try to have conversations with them, you try to reach them where they are, and from day to day, and sometimes even from moment to moment, it's different. It's different where they are. It's different what they remember. Do they remember you? Do they remember who you are to them? Are you a stranger? Um, Marlene says, I've definitely outgrown a few, and at times a few they've outgrown you. I'm assuming maybe that's what you were going to say. Oh, here it is. I have outgrown a romantic relation. Absolutely. 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 And even friends. Exactly. Right. So, you get to this season in your life when you've lived long enough to say that you've actually had friends from middle school, high school, college, and it's now 10, 20. I'm not going to continue on that path of how many decades later, but there's some decades behind this friendship, and you can go back and account for the relationships they had, and they can account for the relationships you had, and you can laugh about it over a glass of whatever, a cup of tea, a glass of wine, whatever you say that you like to drink. And those relationships, sometimes you outgrow them, or like I was speaking about just a second ago, you have maybe a parent like I did, that has dementia, and you can no longer have the same relationship with that parent as you're caregiving for them as you once did. You could just talk to that person. You could tell them all about it. They could tell you all about it. And this was a safe space for you. This was a safe zone. that's kind of some of the things that you deal with in life sometimes. And who do you reach out to? Who do you turn to when your bestie is like no longer reachable? Who do you reach out to? Who is that rock? Where is that place where you go to cry, to emote, to be emotional, to have that breakdown and know that it's going to be okay? So I'm very blessed. I have some very good friends, and I'll say this: the young lady that created the thumbnail today for this, from the heart, because I was talking to her about what it is I'm trying to create here and what I'm trying to do. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Marlene says, I work in healthcare, so I see Alzheimer's and dementia. It's very sad and tougher when they have no family. Oh my God, Marlene, I can't even imagine somebody having dementia and having no family. Wow. Wow. That's something. Yeah. You know what? I years ago with my parent, I belonged to a support group, and I'm trying to remember the name of the organization right now. It's a national organization, so it's available. I want to say the Alzheimer's Association. Um, I'm gonna look it up and I'll have it for the next time I do this from the heart talk, right? Because people really need to know that. But that organization was so helpful. I think we met just, I want to say, once a month we met, but it was so amazing to have somebody going through the exact same thing that you were going through and giving maybe possible solutions, alternatives, and ideas. And of course, the facilitator also was professional and had many ideas and resources and made available these resources. So that was very helpful. So, anyways, I was just talking to this friend and reached back out to this friend, even though a part of my brain was kind of like, it's your day off. You don't need to talk to anybody. Because, see, here's the thing a lot of people don't know about me that don't know me in real life. I'm an introvert. I could probably go for a very long time and never talk to or see another human being. And I don't know if that's because I grew up an only child. I'm not really sure where that comes from, but that's the deal. That's the dealio. So for me to reach out to someone and to have a relationship, that person has to be very special to me. Let me see what Roro is saying here. Roro says sometimes people's lives take them in different directions that don't have anything to do with each other. Exactly. And that's a whole nother part. And I think that's kind of like when my friend said to me today, earlier, he said, sometimes people outgrow one another. And I thought, wow, well, that for me, if you're not family, I'm probably real okay with that. But for me, if you're family, then that to me can be a real sad thing, right? So, but absolutely, you're right that the life will take us in different directions, and it doesn't mean, and that's a good point. Maybe the neutral. Am I saying this word correctly? Neutrality of it all. That it doesn't mean that this person doesn't love you and you don't love them. I guess that's another way to look at it. Um, Marlene says, she says, I've cried for the clients because they are frustrated because they ask for certain people and they don't want to see them anymore. So I'm assuming you're saying that the people, the family members, the friends don't want to see them anymore, Marlene, or is it the actual client? Is it the client that they don't want to see? I'm confused. I'm sorry with that. I'm a little bit confused. I'm sorry. Um, Roro says some people are only in our lives for a season. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is true. And you know what? At the end of the day, I don't know where it comes from. I'm not sure if this is biblical, Roro. Maybe you can help me with this. I'm not sure when it says, no one comes here with us with this expression. It's an expression maybe that, we come here by ourselves, except for those people that are twins and triplets, and we leave this earth by ourselves. And that's why I was saying that relationship with the creator, that relationship with a higher power is so important, because at the end of the day, that's the person, that's the one entity, in my opinion, in my life experience, of several decades, that's the one entity that we can trust in. And I'm hoping that somebody out there that's listening today, whether live or on the replay, um, that they recognize that they sense that they reach out to him for that. Whatever they're going through, whether they're going through relationship issues, health challenges, and I've been having some health challenges myself. I'm going to talk about that on the next episode, but right now I'm not going to get into that right now, but I'll talk about that a little bit more, about, some life changes that I'm having to make, for health challenges that I'm having as I'm aging. Marlene said, I definitely have outgrown some family because they are toxic or lazy. Wow. Yeah, I get that. And that's another thing. So I'm an adult adoptee. I was adopted as a baby, as a child, and I'm blessed in the sense that when I see the stories of I'm blessed in the sense that when I see the stories of people, because for a long time I didn't know, like people who were adopted that did not know who their biological family members were, who their biological mother, father, if they had siblings. And I don't know, it's so funny. Like, God has really blessed me with a variety of different gifts in this life. And one of them was that, in my 30s, I was able to reunite with my biological family. And oh Lord, oh Lord, I said, I was telling Kia today I could write a book about what that was like. And I think actually I really may sit down and do that. Um, there were some family members that were so toxic. And because we had not grown up together as siblings in the same household, with the same parents, with the same values, we were so different. Our values were so different. What was normal, what was my norm versus what were my sibling norms, that after about a decade of trying and praying and being there, I finally had to say, enough, enough. I know who you are. I know how to reach you. I'll see you around, maybe never, right? Because it was just too much. It was just too much. I can't begin to tell you, like, you could do more things to me. I always feel like this as a person and as a parent. You can do more things to harm me, say bad things about me, be disrespectful, be mean, and then come back and apologize. And I might say, okay, you know what? We're going to try this one more time. We're going to do this one more again. But when you mess with my family, when you do bad things to my children, my parents when they were alive, when you do things to any of those people, say bad things about them, cause them harm, cause them to cry, cause them to hurt, you're going to have a hard time coming back from that. And that's what it was with my biological family. And by the way, folks, if you know someone who's adopted like me, please don't say to them, please don't be so insensitive and say, oh, you met your real parents, you met your real mom, you met your real dad. No, ma'am. No, sir. I grew up with my real mom and my real dad, and they were wonderful. They were wonderful. The biological mom and biological dad, that's what we call them. Or you can even say natural, as in natural, nature. This is the person I came from. These are where my genetics are. But please stop saying your real mom and dad when you talk to people like me who are adopted, and you think that the natural mom and dad, that gave birth, this father that was the genetic sperm donor. You think that's the real dad? You think the woman that carried the baby inside her uterus? And thank you for doing that, natural mom. No, she's not my real mother. She's not my real mother. We look alike. We may speak alike. We may walk alike, but she's not my real mother. Okay. The real mom was the one that spent the time to raise me, love me, give me values, take me to church, take me to doctor's appointments, take me to the dentist, go to the school to check on how I was doing in school, encourage me, be there for me, give me advice about boys and dating and all kinds of things. Even, oh, fashion. My mother, my real mom, was a fashion diva. Ask the people in the Kojic church. Come to Detroit, go to Glad Tidings or Northwest Church of God in Christ and ask them about my mom and her fashionness. You go to DC and see my daughter, and you'll understand because she gets that gene from her more so than I do. And isn't that funny that I can say gene because genetically we're not linked, but it really spills over into my daughter. It really does. So anyway, where am I at here, guys? I'm just so off script. I had a whole little list of things. This is fun. Let me see what you guys are saying so I don't just get too off base. Roro, what you got to say, girl? It's hard when it's family that you're close with. Absolutely. Absolutely. Estrangement with your family is very difficult. It is very difficult. Um Right. The family doesn't want to see them. Oh, okay. So I'm sorry. So Marlene, you responded obviously to the question I was asking because it wasn't clear in the writing. You're saying, yeah, when the person who has dementia, maybe Alzheimer's disease, that the family does not want to see that person in that condition. I struggle with that. That's something we're going to talk about a little bit later too. I've struggled with that, and I do understand it. And sometimes you're the caregiver and you still struggle with that. So that's, yeah, that's a real thing. And my God, um Roro, family is not always, yes. Oh, in my case, pretty much most of my family, outside of a couple, two, three people, my family is not blood at all. Like, so my church members, my church family, we lift each other up. A few close friends and girlfriends, that I consider like sisters, are my actual sisters to me. Because like I said, I have sisters. I actually have biological sisters. I still have a brother who's still surviving, still living. I lost two brothers to the streets, biological brothers, and only one that I ever got to meet because one was unfortunately deceased before I found my family in my 30s, unfortunately. So I never got to meet him. But my brother Alan, we were very good, close friends. We ended every conversation with, "I love you, sis. I love you, brother." And he was unfortunately taken from myself and the family. He was attacked and robbed and was murdered. So that's a whole nother story. I don't know. So yeah, so lots of times you lose people in life, and that's very hard. That's very difficult. So that's another thing that I want to talk about on this in this From the Heart, because one of the things that I did was grief counseling. So I think that may be something, if you guys are interested, let me know, that we'll do a little bit of talking about how to recover and how to deal with grief, right? Marlene agrees with Roro and says that my family is not all by blood either. That's good. That's good that you have that openness. I think for people like me that are adopted, the one thing that God blesses us with is the unique gift to love people very deeply, as people say, as blood family or as family members, as deeply as you can love any blood family member. I love my family, my mom, my dad, my real mom, my real dad, who adopted me. And it's so funny that I actually remember as a toddler basically meeting my parents. And for a long time, it's so funny how the brain works and the mind works. I didn't know what the memories were. And as I got older, a lot of things kind of became clear that this is the day the social worker brought me to the home. And like, who are these strange people? And what do they want? And why are they so kissy kissy? And what is this room? That was my new bedroom. And why am I eating this wallpaper? Because I'm nervous and anxious. Um, and then I got to kind of dig these people like they're okay. They're okay. Um, I have two moms, birth mom and my yes, and then that's a whole nother thing. So my mother has passed on, um, but I now have I call her my godmother, and she is my spiritual mom. She is absolutely, and she's been my spiritual mom or my godmom for over 10 about 10 years. And we have a very beautiful relationship, a very beautiful relationship, and she advises me in so many matters of spirituality and just practical life matters. Like, I think that every woman should have a wise older woman. And sometimes that can't always be our mother, because there are people out there that have mothers that are addicted to drugs, alcohol, or maybe for what maybe their moms have passed away, you know, and their mothers don't have a spiritual foundation. So I think that's very important that every woman should have a wise older woman in their life that gives them a perspective, a perspective on life and a perspective on what they're doing. Kimberly, hey, Kimberly Reviews. I was just talking about you. I was just shouting you out. I was saying that, we're usually here on Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time reviewing Ready to Love. And I was using an example from Jessica about saying how we always make time for the things that we want. So the idea for this, the impetus for this from the heart is kind of spun off from Ready to Love and Jessica, from that one statement. And Bible study today with my pastor and my church members. Some things that he was saying that I thought I would get into, but I see that my pet family is not going to let me stay here too much longer. So I'm going to wrap it up in a minute. But this was just a good start. I have so much anxiety when I come on the air. A lot of people don't realize that. They say, oh, you sound so calm. You do so well, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for saying. Um, so Kimberly says, hey, is this a new show produced by? Okay. Yes, yes, yes. I guess so. I guess so. It's produced by a little bit of help with from the father. That's the hope. The idea, Kimberly. So this is funny. So I was talking to Kia. So Kia, by the way, everybody knows Kia Simone. She did my thumbnails. Kia, are you in the chat? I don't know. She may be in the chat. By the way, so Kimberly, today is Kia's birthday. So she says she's just chillaxing because I had a segment. So we're gonna do a segment next time when we come on with From the Heart, where we call in. I want you guys to call in and we're going to talk about some things, right? Because I can't just do this by myself. But what was I saying? I was trying to tell you about the idea. Um, I'm all over the place, guys. So you could tell I have ADHD when I'm talking by myself because I spaz out. I got like so many things going on in my head at one time. But I think what I was saying, so I was talking to Kia, and oh, I know. So I was talking to Kia and I was putting together how there are things from these reality shows that we cover, because Kimberly and I also cover Married at First Sight, which comes on. It's getting ready to start next month in a few weeks. We'll be covering that. And so sometimes there are just moments in the show, or there's a saying, someone says something in the show, and it really triggers in my brain a whole lot of thought about how what they're saying in their reality is tied into my reality, and it's tied into um, my higher power. It's tied into the creator. It's tied into what his will is for our life, for our purpose. And I think that's just so important that if we can take some of these things and use them, utilize them. Um, oh, wow. Okay. I'm not sure. What did Roro say? What did Roro say? Congratulations. What's going on? Oh, thank you, Roro. Yeah, yeah. I really feel, the one beautiful thing, my brother, um, at his services, it was told to me by the pastor and his wife as they were talking to me and giving me their condolences that my brother had accepted Christ. So I'm so thankful to know that. And then also in the time when I was in my family, my biological family, right? So my biological dad also accepted Christ through me, like through my pastor at that time, went to visit him because my father, my biological father, had heart disease, and it was so weird. I went. My uncle called me and said, "You got to go. He's in the hospital. You know, it's right up the road. You know, you got to go check on him. It's not looking good." So I went to go see about him, and can you imagine? Like I've met this man maybe about a handful of times, and we've talked. I've had him to the house. We've had dinner, but I've only met him maybe 5, 6 times, if that. And I go to the hospital to see him. And when I tell them that I'm his daughter, you know, I don't say biological daughter, but you know, that's what it is. The doctor comes in and the doctor says, "Here, you got to sign these papers. He's got to have some more, he's got to have heart surgery." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "I'm just the daughter." We don't know each other that well. He's not able to give his signature. So I've got to give this. It's a whole, like I said, I could write a book. It's a whole lot in my life that has happened and that I've been a witness to. But in all of that, I say this. So my father, my natural father, did accept and receive Christ's salvation before he went on in, before he deceased and passed away. So I was so happy about that portion of it. And there's a whole lot more about my siblings on my father's side of the family, but we'll talk about that another day. Kicking it with the roots. Hey, what's up? Kicking it with the roots. So kicking it with the roots, just like Kimberly, like pretty much everybody here, including Ro for real, the podcaster. They all have the YouTube channel. So you guys, if you haven't checked out each other's channels, Life with Marlene, if you haven't checked out Kicking It with the Roots, you need to check it out. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Yeah. Hey, chat. Hey, chat. What's up? Um, Life with Marlene, my best friend. Yes. And see, I had that. I had that too. I had that at one point in my life, and I don't have that. So that's something that caused me a lot of grief. That is like, even though physically she's still on this earth, we're not close anymore. We're not friends anymore. And I never got a full explanation, but I think now as I've gotten some distance from it, I think I can see why, and that there's some things that were going on with her, and it really had not anything to do with me so much. So I'm okay with that now. But that took a while. That was like a pain, like going through a divorce type of pain. And oh yeah, the Rooks are saying hi because you guys know each other. Um, Oh wow, wait a minute. Let me see. What is Marlene saying? My mom passed 6 years ago. So my spiritual mom has been better than a blood mom. She has loved me and mentored me deeply. Exactly. That's what I have. I won't say that it's any deeper than with my mom, my situation, but because my mother's not here, um, it's just it's a relationship so similar. A lot of times I find myself telling my godmother that things that gospel hymns that she sings to me, and she's got a beautiful voice, and my mother used to sing with the Michigan State Choir under, those of you who know, Maddie Moss Clark, right? How's that for name dropping? But seriously though, um they have, because their love of the Lord is so deep and is so expressive and is so relational, and they put it in everything, including their cooking, right? So these are two women that can cook their behinds off. um that everything they do is with love, and that's such a beautiful thing. I want to, as a woman, I want to just develop and continue to develop. God will help me to develop inside of me that love, to be able to put that love in everything I do. I think that the world would be a better place for me and for everybody else if we all just put a little more love. Let me see. Kimberly, thank you for the shout out. I'm loving this. I'm working and listening. Okay, yeah, because it is a podcast. I'm gonna make sure that I go into our what do we call it, our back office, and put it as a podcast, because it's definitely a podcast, and that's what I wanted. I wanted people to be able to listen while they work, or if they're washing dishes, or whatever it is, and their convenience and their time. I'm not gonna hold you guys for long. Is it over 30 minutes? I thought this was gonna be about 30 minutes. I told my girlfriend to fix the thumbnail for 15, and she said no, because the minute you go over 15 minutes, people are gonna be complaining about it. So, guys, I'm not gonna hold you much longer. I'm gonna go through the rest of these comments real quickly. I talked about very little of what it was that I came here to say, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna talk about the rest of this the next time around. We're gonna see each other again soon, and we're gonna talk some more. Um, let's see what we're. This sounds funny. When I saw season 1 in the title, I thought it was a new TV show. Yes, yes, yes. Right, right, right. Yes. Happy birthday, Kia. Happy birthday. Okay, I can't sing, right? So I'm gonna stop right there. Happy birthday, Kia. People they are shouting you out. And by the way, she does graphics, guys. So if you're on YouTube, if you're a podcaster like Roro and you need someone to do your graphics and thumbnails, if you are like me and you are inept at doing thumbnails, she's a girl to go to. And she is also doing a special right now for your social media platform. Could be IG, it could be Facebook. She's doing a 30-day promo, um, and you can find Kia at author.kea dot Simone, Simone, author Kia Simone, because she's also the author of a published book, and she's going to be writing more, and I'm going to be writing more, because, guys, I got to tell you that story about how this New York publisher wanted my book, right? But I was still working on it, so I'm going to finish that up. You see, I'm bouncing around here now, but yes, I know about this, but other people don't. Roro says, yes, we're talking about now how people who are not blood family, or as some people would say, real family, but they got it wrong. So I got the air quotes around the real. But her neighbor became her daughter, and her and I, Roro and I, we talk about this quite often, how that relationship has been such a blessing in her life. It has been just a really great thing. And I thank God for that, because not all the time can our children, our parents, or actual blood family members, or people who adopted us. I come from a very small family, so I don't have much family. So the people who are closest to me and love me, they automatically, of course, become my family. So that's it. That's it. That's all. That's what it is. Um, Oh, like books. Okay, rooks, like books. Okay, I got it now. Kicking it with the rooks, not rooks. Kicking it with the rooks. Okay, yes. Kimberly is teasing. We like to tease Roro here. We like to tease our Roro here, because where's my sound machine at? Lord have mercy. I put it down and it but anyway, we like to tease our Roro, because she's forever saying she's not a podcaster, and yet she is a podcaster. She's so good. So you guys, if you have not caught the last season of Married at First Sight reviews that we've done here, Kimberly and Roro and I, and also a young lady named Mocha Mima Media, we talked all about that Shaquille and that Kirsten and all the other people on the cast that season. So now we're moving over to Denver. Um, yes, absolutely. A blessing to have great people in your life. Let me see what Marlene is saying about her spiritual mom. Yes, that is, you know what? That was a blessing. My mom was like that. My mother was never, and I'm telling you, in my 20s, let me see, between my teens and my 20s, oh my God, the stories I could tell, the places I've been, the things that I've done. My mother was never judgmental, but sometimes she would sit me down and she would have a real good talking to me, and we would get an understanding, and I would be like, oh, okay. That's a good point. I never thought of it that way. While I'm out here having so much fun and just, footloose and fancy free, I had a ball. It's nothing you can't tell me about what you did, what was out there to be done. Because other than, drugs, I didn't do drugs, but I had a ball. Let me just say that. I had a ball between New York, Chicago, places I traveled, places I was sent for work. I had a ball, and I can tell some stories about some people that I met during those times. But yeah, my mom was never judgmental. My godmother now, she's not judgmental at all. She walks me through a lot of things, and she tells me, um, what God will is for my life, and what her experience is as a woman, and she's never judgmental. She's the first person to tell me spread my wings and let God. Yes, exactly, and that's where I'm really at right now. I'm really working to find out what it is He wants me to do, because I felt like there's some things that He wanted me to do, and some things I'm a little afraid of. Is that weird or not? That I'm afraid. That I have some fears and some anxieties about that. But I said, you know what? I'm going to be open, because actually one of my church members, she said, you know what? Do you remember the grief? You did this grief thing. I was doing this grief thing through my church called Recovery. And it's a program. It's like a support group, like we were just talking about a moment ago, for those people that, when we were talking about the support group for people who are caregivers for people with dementia. So in grief, we lose someone. It could be a husband, a spouse, mother, father. Oh my God, God forbid it be a child. But at my church, because it's a diverse community, and because we know that sometimes in major cities you have gun violence, just like I lost my brother to a murder with a gun violence. He was unalived. There are people that, there were parents that had lost children. And then there are people that died through natural causes or whatever, could be stroke, heart attack. But we were able to come together on a weekly basis after church on Sunday, right? And we were able to receive so much healing. And one of the greatest things I ever experienced was a young black man was in the panel on the first day on the support group. And he asked this question. He said, I lost my dad. I lost this family member, and I'm not sure if this is grief or not. And through listening to the other people on the group, and that's what's so beautiful about support groups, he was able to discover that it absolutely was grief. And because we place these societal norms on men where they can't grieve and they can't talk and they can't have feelings and they can't emote, we found out that he was able to release a lot of that pain, and he was able to really talk and get in touch with his feelings and really come through some healing. Now, will you say that you're ever gonna just be able to not have pain in your heart because that person that was so close to you and so deep in your life and such a integral part of your life, is that going to ever completely go away? Probably not. But can you receive healing and go on to live a productive, fulfilling life? Yes. Is Roro. She's saying I'm a podcaster. So yes. But anyway, so what was I saying? So guys, this has been from the heart, from my heart to yours, hopefully. I don't know if I said anything that made any sense at all. I put these headsets on, and sometimes I can't even hear myself talk or think. But I'm so behind in the comments. I see I am so far behind. Okay, so here's when I was speaking to fear. Talk to us, Marlene. Talk to us. A fear happens without knowledge. Then, when you gain knowledge, but the worry may be there. When we strengthen our relationship with ourselves, we can walk through anything with God leading the way. All right. All right now. All right. Speak to me. Speak to my heart. Kimberly Review says, no, not weird at all. Bishop T.D. Jakes came to my city and preached, if your dreams don't scare you, go back to sleep. Basically meaning dream bigger. Exactly, Kimberly. Because I tell you, I got some big dreams. I really do. I got some big dreams, and they scare me sometimes, but I'm just gonna step right on into it. So you guys forgive me. I'm gonna be a little bit better prepared with some background music that YouTube so generously provides to us content creators. So it's gonna be nice and mellow in here. And I want to have the little segment where you guys call in. So then I guess that basically means, I'll drop the link in the chat and you guys can come up and talk to me. And we'll have like, it'll be a little bit more theme because I know I was kind of all over the place and I need a better guideline as to what I'm going to talk about. Like, I didn't have any intention of talking about my, history as being adopted, but so I brought that up because on Ready to Love, the cast member this season, Janelle, is an older woman. She's in her mid or early 40s, and she's never been married, no children, and so she's dating for marriage. And the question is because she linked up with a guy that's 8 years her junior. He's only 34, so he's 7 years her junior. Um, Whether or not they would be able to have these three children that he's always dreamt of having. And for her, she's like, well, I'm in this age because once women hit 35, that's considered more of a older and a high risk pregnancy. So that's how we got to adoption because she was talking about adoption with him. And I was hearing all these rumblings where people were saying, I was in other podcasters YouTube on the recaps, and they were saying, well, oh, adoption, I would never adopt. That's not your real child. I've heard this my whole life. So, talking to people about adoption. And I think it's really funny that in our community as African Americans, we are kind of like against adoption, it seems like, or we don't think this is your real child or your real parents, and you can't have this experience of being a parent. Um, and then we've seen where people get upset when people outside of our community adopt little black babies and little black children that have no one that really wants to take them into their home. But that's a topic, I guess, for another day. Uh, we're not going to end on that. We're going to end on something positive. Guys, something positive is you guys like came out to support me. 900 people. I'm going to put some zeros on this. 900 people came out to support this live today. And I know you all are going to like it and you're going to share it with your friends and you're going to subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. I'm going to end on that. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Well, maybe I'm going to put this up here for a second. My mom had me at 44. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But now if I'm not mistaken, because I know you're a little bit better than most people here in the chat, you are the baby, Marlene? Yes, no? I believe you're the baby of your family. So your mom didn't wait to 41, obviously, to get started with having children. So I understand it. It's plenty of women. Like, when I was growing up, there were women that would have what they call the oops baby. And their youngest might have been 14 or 15. And here they are 50 having that last baby. What we're talking about nowadays. Right, exactly. That's what I knew. That's what I thought. I didn't know exactly how many, but I know you're from a very large family. You are the last of 10. So I'm talking about these new school women, these what I call modern women that are, getting their careers off the ground and getting 31,000, 5011, as Roro likes to say, 5011 degrees and certifications. They don't start having their kids sometimes until they're 40, 41, 42, 43. And they know that because I've heard a lot of my friends and associates that say they're only going to have one child. They're playing, a lot of these modern women, their plan is only to have one child. They want to experience it one time and one and done. They're not trying to have no 2 kids, no 3 kids, and certainly not no 10 kids. Right. Woo child. Exactly. Woo child. Exactly. I don't know nobody like, having them 9 and 10 kids no more. I don't know nobody doing that. But nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. If that's what you want to do, as I always say, uh, do you. Do you. Not nothing wrong with that. But I was just saying about the young lady. So anyway, talking about adoption, that's how I got sidetracked. But I'm gonna get back to you guys soon. We're gonna do this again. I'm gonna be a little bit more organized in my discussion, but I love it. I love it that you guys came out. I want you to give yourself a round of applause. I want to thank you guys. I want to say how much I really truly appreciate you, because you didn't have to be here. You could have been anywhere else. And drop down in the comment section when the video is over and tell me um, what your thoughts are for the next topic we're going to have from the heart. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to shimmy and shake on out of here. Bye now. Love you.